It's Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today is quite a special day, really. I was on Instagram and I was looking at the Instagram feed for Morrisons beer, and they described the story of working really hard with a brewery, this brewery, Polly's Brew Co, to develop two beers that are going to go in selected Morrisons stores throughout the UK. And it's been a long old process. And I really admire that. Let's get the beer out first into a glass and see what we get. It's called Mosaic Maize. It's a hazy IPA at 6.7% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. A nice IPA glass here. So beer pouring out. Lovely hazy looking IPA. It was £3.50 per can. I'm okay with that. Absolutely okay with that. As long as it's a really good beer. For a 6.7% ABV IPA, it's going to be a really, well, fingers crossed, from Polly's Brew Co. They're a really decent brewery. That's the whole kind of story behind this, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But I want to concentrate on the beer first. We got a 2-finger white head, lovely hazy kind of strawish coloured beer. As you rock the beer back and forth, you can see the carbonation chasing that head up the glass. Looks wonderful. Look at it. Hopefully it's oats that has made that, oats or wheat that has made that lovely kind of hazy look to the beer. It's supposed to be kind of looking like this. If you're new to craft beer and you picked this up and thought, I'll give this a try, maybe you've seen their Instagram account and you thought, I'm going to give this a try, and you poured it out and you've gone, that doesn't look like beer. It's unfiltered beer. All of the fantastic kind of bits and pieces of the beer has not been filtered out and dumped down the drain. All these large breweries who make sparkling looking, clear looking, bright coloured beers, most of the goodness of that beer is being dumped down the drain. So this is what you're seeing here. Let's get the aroma on the beer then. Smells really good. A little kind of, I'm picking up like a marmalade-y, slightly kind of passion fruity aroma, but it's not massive. It's not going to punch it in your face. It smells lovely. Really lovely. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. You know, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've stood here and drunk anything like this in such a long time. I kind of like went away a little bit from, I kind of reverted back to drinking a lot of kind of traditional bottles from the supermarkets. Just lost my way a bit with some of the kind of additional fruit that these brewers were adding to the beers. And I would say the first half of 2022 was dominated by these kind of actual mango flavours, concentrates added to beer. But thankfully, this is wonderful. Stone the crows, this is wonderful. It's worth my £3.50. It's a lovely delicate beer, but with that delicacy comes a creamy richness. There's a little hiss and fizz of carbonation to help push the beer back around the inside of the mouth to release more of that flavour. There's flavours of passion fruit and mango and grapefruit and orange peel and fleshy blood orange. This is a little bit terrific. This is a little bit special. Now, I don't know if that's because I've kind of retreated back from this beer style a little bit. The New England IPA beer style, which this clearly is, has dominated the beer scene now for the last 5 years. And I'm going to be a little bit honest with you. I got a little bit bored by it all. So I stepped back, took myself away, drank other things for a while. But I've come back. I've purchased this from Polly's, and it is absolutely delicious. It's a delicious, delicious beer. Love the creamy, rich mouthfeel. Love the balance, a little bit of sweetness to begin with, the touch of bitterness on the back end, the kind of sharpness of the beer. Really lovely, really, really lovely. And I want to come back to this story now. So I think the reason why Morrisons have talked about why they've worked so hard to get this right, really, with Polly's Brew Co. is because Polly's, well, they're one of these breweries that have always seemed to have this fantastic reputation. I call them gold dust breweries. There's some breweries that they start off on their journey, they build their brewery, they start producing terrific beers, and the good word spreads. People talk about it, people start buying it, they tell their friends, and it's all word of mouth, all done on social media. Next thing you know, this brewery is one of those kind of verdant or cloud waters. They really are highly regarded. They're based in Mold in North Wales. They used to be called Locker Polly's years ago, changed their name to Polly's Brew Co., which I think is a very, very good decision. They've been going since 2018, so they've only been a brewery for 4 years. But in that time, it's been kind of monumental growth. Now, when you have that reputation of brewing terrific beer, I think these breweries have to be very careful. They have to kind of tread with a bit of trepidation going forward if a supermarket approaches them and says, will you brew some beer with us? And I think the hard work has gone in from Morrisons, because Polly's were probably a little bit like, oof, do we go down this route of producing beer for supermarkets? We've all seen what's happened to Brewdog. To a less extent, we've all seen what's happened to Thornbridge. Not quite the same brewery as they once were. Siren have held on to their quality, but I don't think is it Soundwave, the IPA? I don't think it's quite as it was when they were a little microbrewery. So there's trepidation, and so from Polly's part, they're like, do we go down this road of putting beer in the supermarkets? Now, I've actually predicted this, because about 8 or 9 months ago, I actually reviewed a beer from Marks and Spencer's, a Polly's Brew Co. beer from Marks and Spencer's. And whenever these breweries choose to go into the supermarkets, let's say for argument's sake, Thornbridge. When we first seen Thornbridge in a supermarket, we seen it in Waitrose. Jaipur was in Waitrose. It was a 500 milliliter bottle of Thornbridge Jaipur. I think it was about £2.65 a bottle back then, which back then for beer was kind of expensive in a supermarket. It was a little bit more than your average kind of hobgoblin back in the day, but it was good quality beer. And if you wanted a Thornbridge, it was accessible and it was available in Waitrose. That then led to Thornbridge going from Waitrose. It led them to go into Asda and Morrisons and Tesco, and the quality dropped a bit. What I'm hoping and praying is that Polly's have now started this journey. They've now started this journey of producing beer for supermarkets. I hope this is a tremendous example of a craft beer. It really is a delicious beer. But my hope is they started their journey with Marks and Spencer. They've now made their journey into selected Morrisons stores. They might now roll out into Asda's and Tesco's, and we've already done Morrisons. Let's hope that they can hold on to this level of quality. Use this beer review as a marker, as a line in the sand, as a reference point. If ever you buy a Polly's Beer Co. beer in the supermarket in the future and you think, oh, it's not quite like it was. Some people choose to look back at my Brewdog Punk IPA video from 11 years ago where it was kind of looking like this. Brewdog Punk IPA used to kind of look like this, and it looks like this in my review, and people revert back to my original Punk IPA video and they look to what Punk IPA is now, and it's a completely different beer. Use this as a reference point. Come back to this beer review in 4 years' time and let's see if Polly's have held on to that level of quality. This is delicious. I'm going to rate it. Smells good, looks good, tastes wonderful. Well done, Polly's Brew Co. Well done, Morrisons, for kind of getting this in there. Mosaic Maize, Hazy IPA, 6.7% ABV. I like it enough to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.